Hello and welcome to another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
And I'm Chris Costa.
Chris, what would you like to talk about today?
Well, I thought maybe we could cover creating an order with where I want to gang components, maybe to pass on a savings to the customer.
Sure, great topic. We do have a gang button right on the order header that will allow you to do that.
Okay.
So let's take a look.
Sure, great.
All right, I'm going to open up estimating order entry and I have a job here I'm going to edit. Now this job is 2 postcards, 2 different versions. Before I even get into the job, I'm just going to hit the summary button over here to show you I've got these 2 different postcards, different quantities, 5,000 on one, 10,000 on another. And you can see that right now in 2 separate components with 2 separate press runs, it's costing the customer a little over $900. Well, now say we want to actually run that job as a gang job, as one press run and pass the savings on of the one set of plates, make ready spoilage onto the customer.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to come in and I'm going to click. I'm going to edit the component first. There's a couple things you have to set up when you're building the order. In the Processes tab, as you bring in processes for this order, there's a little checkbox on the process here that says Include in Gang. So you want to make sure on all of the processes that you want to gang, like pre-flighting, you may be ganging or doing that function together for both jobs. For the press, you'll want to check the Include in Gang. And for post-press, you may want to do the same thing maybe for cutting. So I'll check the Include in Gang here, but maybe not for cartoning. We might want to leave that blank because cartoning you'll be doing individually for each component. So now I'm going to do the same for component 2. And we will check and make sure all of those checkboxes are checked as well. Oops. Let me edit that again and get the rest of them. So we'll have the Include in Gang on the press. And then we'll go down to post-press and we'll say Include in Gang there as well for the cutting. All right, so they're all checked. The next step is you'll set up the gang. And you can do that under this gang button. You would click on the button. It's going to first recalculate the job, make sure everything's calculated first. And then when that screen opens up, you'll be able to create your gang. So here I can do a Create New. It brings in both components. Now I might have 3, 4, 5 components in this job and I may not be ganging all of them. Here's where I'm going to tell Enterprise what components I'm ganging together, and then I'm also going to specifically tell Enterprise how many of each component I am ganging on the press sheet or printing up on the press sheet. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to check the particular components, and in this case I want to gang both. And then in here I'll say for this component, I know there's 6 out on this press sheet, and because I have twice as many of the second one as I do the first, I'll do 2 of this one. And I'll do 4 of this one. All right. Now you'll see this percentage column here is blank. Once I hit the Save button, Enterprise is going to go back and calculate the percentage that each one of those components is of the press sheet.
Okay.
Now I can close out of here. The next step I need to do is do a recalc. And what that does is it writes those percentages back to all the processes that I've told it I wanted to gang. So when this comes back from the recalc, we can go into each one of the processes, and you'll see, for example, in this pre-press process that I said Include in Gang. Oh, I must have unchecked that one. I did the wrong one here. So let's go down to the press. You'll see it writes the percentages back to the jobs that I've said Include in Gang.
Okay.
And then it will apply those percentages and reduce the cost based on that amount.
Okay.
Okay. So because I made one change, I will do that recalc and apply again. So you can, add something to the job that you want to gang and just recalc it again. And then you'll see once we go and look at the summary again that the costs were reduced, even though I didn't change anything in the processes. So now it's only charging $627 for the job instead of the $900 for the job.
Okay, that's
Okay.
great. Now, you keep mentioning this including gang run checkbox. Do I have to remember with every component to go ahead and hit that on every all the processes?
Yeah, you can see that can be a little difficult as you're going through to remember to check
Right.
it. But there is an option to save that as a default. So let's go into that in File Maintenance. So I get out of here, and we go into File Maintenance. And we go into Cost Centers, and I'll just take a look at my press, the Quick Master. If I go down to the run process, I can put that in as included gang run by default, which means that when I select this particular process in a job, that checkbox comes in automatically checked. And if I'm not ganging the jobs, it does nothing anyway.
Right.
So it can't hurt.
Okay.
And that way, if I decide to gang it, I don't have to go back like what I just did and check every single one.
Sure. Okay,
Okay.
that's good. So now what if I'm going to gang things of different sizes?
Yeah, that's a great example of when you might want to use this because you have to put those different sizes in different components. Enterprise not only looks at the quantity that each component is of the press sheet when it calculates those percentages, it also looks at the sizes. So if the sizes of one of them is bigger, the percentage is going to be larger.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
that will work.
All right. Okay. What about, can I use this with estimating,
Yes,
not just order entry?
you can. That button is available on the estimate header table or header screen, and you can set it up at the time of the estimate, so you can quote it this way as well.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, well, I think that was very helpful.
Well, thank you,
Thank you.
and thank you for joining us for another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
I'm Chris Costa.
Please look forward for more to come.